T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute.
How about that?
Well, I got to say, how about that? Welcome to a Football Friday. I say right out of the gate, can we keep it civil today? Please, can we keep it civil? Because we're going to have fun over the next 2 hours. Special treat for you. Darren Moose Dupont is going to be joining us in seconds from the T-Dot. And we've got our football buddy Mike Davis joining us from the Vegas Nighthawks in hour 2. You know what we're going to be talking about today. The comments section is full already. They're like a bucket horse kicking the door of the chute. They can't wait to get out. But we got a lot of things to get to with Moose. Hang on. Almost dropped my kazoo on the floor. Hey, Moose. Happy Friday. How are you, my friend? Namaste.
I am great. And you know what? It's good to be on, man. And you know what? We got some time today to sink our teeth into some topics here.
Right, and that's the whole thing. So the opening segment, the warm-up, as we call it, the Quick Six, brought to you by our friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the RP Show, and the BC Lions. Listen, this is a quick hitter, this opening segment. We got more time to talk about all the football in the next one. So can we open with the big topic? And it's just hockey, okay? East Conference Final tonight, Game 5, Montreal at Carolina. Kelly McCrimmon saying this thing with Bruce Cassidy wouldn't be news if Edmonton hadn't leaked it. You've seen that everywhere. Claude Lemieux has passed away. We'll talk all of it. What's your thoughts on hockey right now? Because it is the big story across the country, really.
Yeah, it really is. And that's tough. The Claude Lemieux stuff is tough. I saw a really classy gesture from the Detroit Red Wings and their fan base. They've put that whole thing behind them, and it's all respect. He was just on the ice, or at least carrying the torch for Montreal in Game 3. Devastating stuff. But the Stanley Cup still goes on, and it's a buzz in Montreal. I'm excited for it. I know it's a record, 3 games, 18 shots or less, but they're okay. They're still in it. They got great goaltending. They've got enough young stars. Montreal still has a chance in this series.
Right, so there's that, and then the Golden Knights thing. Listen, it came up in my Facebook memories today. It was 11 years ago today that I interviewed Bill Foley at Suncoast Casino in Las Vegas, and I posted that as a Flashback Friday thing because I want people to know that my relationship with the Golden Knights goes back a very long time, and with their people far longer than that. There's a lot of people writing into our, oh, you're a Johnny-come-lately. Thought you were the Florida guy. Thought you were this. Thought you were the Canadian. No, stand down. So where are you on the Kelly McCrimmon thing? Because I'll say this. Write it down. Bruce Cassidy will be coaching the Oilers next year, okay? So, but beyond all that, I saw Kelly McCrimmon on Overdrive yesterday in Toronto where you're at, and he looked pissed off, or whatever day it was, to be addressing this. Your thoughts on that?
It's news because it is news, because it happened. And somebody told me once, when you're making decisions in business, if you're okay with it being on the front page of the newspaper, then it's okay to do it. If you're not okay with it being in the newspaper, then it's bad business. So if the Golden Knights didn't want this to get out, they shouldn't have done it, right? Denied him. But I understand why the Golden Knights did it. It's a division rival. They denied the LA Kings as well. This is division rivals. Why would you make things easy? And Kelly had a good comment when he said, my first responsibility is to the Vegas Golden Knights, not anybody else. It's to Vegas. And right now, who's to say he's doing anything wrong? They're going to the Stanley Cup final. They're on a roll. Everything's going pretty well for them. And yeah, eventually they're going to allow these teams to talk to Bruce Cassidy. They will. And Bruce Cassidy will be coaching. But at least it makes your division rival uncomfortable. And the Oilers have to decide, do we put all our eggs in the Bruce Cassidy basket and hope we get to talk to him and he chooses us? Or do we take somebody else before everybody else is gone?
There's a reason why they haven't hired anybody yet. I mean, connect the dots, everybody, for the love of God. It's right in front of your face. And secondly, as I said, 11 years ago today, I interviewed Bill Foley. I know the guy. He didn't want to pay $4.5 million to Bruce Cassidy next year to stay home. So the whole point of that's rich guys didn't get rich by blowing money unnecessarily. Okay, so they'll be just as happy if Bruce Cassidy's coaching the Oilers. And secondly, for Bruce to come out on Spit and Chicklets, I'll say this, because I've been there. He's speaking from a place of hurt. That whole, oh, it's disappointing. And you understand this because you helped me when I was going through stuff in the past. He's like, I'm not good enough to coach the Golden Knights, but I'm too good to talk to these teams. No, Bruce, you need to chill, Bruce, because here are your options. Get paid $4.5 million to golf next year and stay home, or you'll be coaching wherever you want to be, Edmonton or LA. But he's speaking from a place of hurt, which is another thing that people really don't understand. So all of this has just been very entertaining and fun to watch. You don't like to see people go through this. And somebody brought up how Kelly doesn't care. Kelly cares about, nobody likes to take the heat. Nobody does. It doesn't feel good. But Kelly's made it his decisions. His focus is on the Stanley Cup playoffs. He hasn't lied through any of this. So I'll say it again. Write it down. And that's why none of the pundits have picked up our meme that we dropped, that Bruce Cassidy will be coaching the Oilers next year, because they know I'm right. And they didn't have it because they didn't stop to think about it. So write it down, save the meme. We posted it Friday, May 28th. And by the way, you can just keep sipping your coffee. We're going to take a break here right away. Yeah, 2 minutes, producer Corey tells me. So Darren was all concerned about me. There was no show yesterday because I had to go to the heart specialist. I was referred to the heart specialist. A lot of people have done this. I had to go to the general. I got my tag to prove that I was there. I can take it off now. And they had me up on the treadmill. I'm running, and I'm still running. And the girl's like, we have all we need. Do you want to keep running? You seem to be doing fine. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, whatever. Why am I here? So they print off the results, and the doctor's waving them in my face. He's like, your heart is perfect. Why are you here? And I'm like, I was hoping you'd tell me. And he goes, you're 100%. You're fine. I stuck my hand out. I said, I'm sorry to waste your time. And he goes, no. These are the good ones. I'm happy to report that your heart is working perfect. You can't figure out why you're here. Isn't that the $1 million question of life? Why are we all here? We're here to talk sports today for 2 hours. And when we come back, I could have kicked the hornet's nest, Moose, and had a poll question of, do you like the CFL's new broadcast deal? Let's say that's the underlying poll. To me, the more fun poll is, what's the game of the night in the CFL preseason? Because there are 4 games in the Canadian Football League preseason. Of all things, John Ohm writes in and he says, I'm not much interested in the CFL preseason. Hockey is tops right now. Well, anybody that's not interested, you can go home, because I've been fired up for this all week to talk about CFL football in hour 1 on Friday. And Mike Davis is going to want to talk about it too, because he said he can talk about the CFL and the United League for days from the Vegas Nighthawks when he joins us in hour 2. So for the Ballers, sit tight, top up your coffee. That includes you, Moose. And we'll be right back as the warm-up continues after this. You are tuned into the RP Show.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The RP Show continues. Football Friday. The Moose is with us. Everybody's excited to see him. I'll tell you, score a touchdown in the Caribbean. Join CFL legend Adam Bighill and Rough Riders linebacker Jameer Thurman on a 7-day cruise departing from Fort Lauderdale on February 20th, 2027. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for CFL fans. Prices from $18.99. Cruise only. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Travel. Neil at uniglobecarefree.ca. Point one was the Montreal Canadiens at Carolina tonight. Point two really was Claude Lemieux. I'll get to more of that later. Darren's here. We're talking football. Point three is Blue Jays. Point four is NBA. We'll get to all that. It's Football Friday. 4 games tonight, but before we get to the games, we should talk about the TV deal. Dropped like a lightning bolt yesterday, Darren, and can I say, am I simplifying it to say it boils down to this? TSN will remain the number one rights holder, but they're giving 1 game a week to DAZN, the streaming service. Fans will need to pay $24.99 a month to get 1 game a week, the Saturday night game, and their heads are exploding. Beginning next year, 2027. So I'll give my take. A lot of people have asked it, and I said, tune in for the show for that. And I'll get to it. What's yours?
Let's pump the brakes on all the overreacting that's going on social media. If you go on the CFL's thread, Twitter announcement of this deal, it's just a bunch of complaining, which I want to say I'm sympathetic to, and I understand it. Everybody, when it comes to new technology or new things, is always, what do you want to say, against it, right? They're always up in arms a little bit. We have no idea what it's going to cost. Right now, $24.99 gets you the NFL package. That's the lowest package DAZN has. I pay it, and then when the season's over, I cancel it, right? It's a little cheaper if I commit to the whole year, cheaper on a monthly basis, but I cancel it. And people are saying, well, then you're going to lose people for the first 3 months of the season before the NFL starts. Cool. But if those people can log in and see the CFL and be like, I might watch this game, check it out. That's great. Is the CFL package for 1 game a week going to be $24.99? No, it's not. Will there be a package with the NFL? Probably. Will there be a straight CFL package on DAZN? Maybe. What's that CFL package going to look like? It's going to have 1 game a week. It's probably going to have the Rod Pedersen Show on DAZN. It's probably going to have a few other content things that are going to air on the network. You know, you're going to get what you pay for. You know, it's going to be $7.99 a month, or it's going to be $9.99 or $5.99. Who knows what it's going to be? Maybe for the first season, they'll offer it for free. Like, let's not overreact until they roll out the package. For now, it's extremely exciting because it means all the things we've talked about, new people talking about the game, reporters, panelists, play-by-play, color analysts. It means enhanced presence at Grey Cups, because that's still going to distribute to all of the international markets as well. It's an international distributor. There's so much beyond you and me watching one game a week on a different platform.
Did you lay awake at night rehearsing that?
I was just flipping through comments and waiting for
that
today.
Was incredible. Racket. I'll pull that clip. Darren Dupont's reasoned response to the CFL packaged perfectly. Okay. So I've been talking to the CFL this week. I've been talking to owners this week. You can see the twinkle in my eye because let's put this out there. Number one, let's say everybody's ideal broadcast crew for the CFL on DAZN. It'll be Rod Pedersen and Darren Dupont. That's what it is. I saw you talking about John Gruden and this and that. So here's my thing, because I was having supper the other night at Rosie's here in Moose Jaw with some friends, and I was telling them about some of the trips that I'm making, going on the road this year, and people don't even know. They don't even know because I can't divulge everything. You know, I tell you everything. And my buddy, let's just call him Mike Lee, turns to me and he goes, "Look at you, following the CFL around again." And I'm like, and I broke out laughing because I'm like, I've tried to break the bond. They've tried to break the bond. It appears to be unbreakable. And it's like, sorry to offend the homophobes out there, but it's like that line from Brokeback Mountain. Why can't I quit you? We tried. We can't, So I'm going to be at games popping up all across the CFL this summer. So just wait. And I just can't. I love the league, and I'll go one step. So with this DAZN, I also understand the people's frustration, like you just said, and we need to listen to that. We don't know a lot of the details. For me in America, I pay $40 a month for ESPN Plus to get every NHL game, but that's worth it. I won't pay more for MLB. I've hardly watched any baseball this year until I got to Canada this week. I'm watching the Blue Jays every night until the hockey comes on. But I'm just saying, I get it. I understand. This is now in the CFL's court, in my mind, Darren, to make people want to pay. But what did I just say? I got to pay for NHL. I got to pay for MLB. You just said you got to pay for NFL in some places. Like everybody is. So everybody is. And for all the leagues, I mean, the big time. That's what sports TV is now. I don't like it either, but it is what it is. Okay, so there's my rant. I mean, I'm sure I'll be forking it over because I have to. It'll be a Saturday night. We'll be sitting there. We won't have it, and I'm like, I gotta pay. That's why I paid for the ESPN Plus.
I think it happened with TSN
I had to
already,
have it,
right?
Hey?
Did it not? Like, I mean, forgive me for not like being able to go back in my TV guide history and check this, but the CFL is not always on TSN 1. Right? Sometimes there's bigger events that supersede. It was hockey when they had more hockey rights. Sometimes it's, NFL games. Maybe it's US Open or something like that gets TSN 1 and the CFL gets bumped to TSN 3, 4, and 5. Networks that you have to pay for extra. It doesn't always come in the basic cable. And I don't even know if TSN itself comes in the basic cable anymore. So you're already, if you wanted to watch more than whatever they fed you on TSN 1, you had to buy the extra TSN channels. And now if you want this, you have to pay for it. And, we'll see how it goes. But, I mean, this is the way that sports media is.
I was talking to Joe last night. I'm like, I pay for Netflix and I never watch it. I feel like they were like the first streaming service that I paid for. But we had to pay for our cable. And long before, I think you're old enough to remember the times, like I had to save up and I paid for the hockey news.
And choose which package you wanted.
Right. And I had to pay for Sports Illustrated, but I did. I mean, I was a sports media nerd then, but I was also a sports nerd. It's just this generation's version of that. We have to pick and choose. So if I have to pick and choose what I'm going to pay for, it'll be the NHL and it'll be the CFL.
Do you remember that? We used to sit around the little TV package from SaskTel or whoever gave us the TV
and
package.
Sure.
And mom
Yeah.
would say, okay, we got the basic and we're only going to get 3 add-ons. So let's look through and see what channels we want. And I would say the sports package. And, my sister would want this package and we would choose. And that's what you have to do now. You have to choose which streaming services you want, which games you want to watch.
We love to be inclusive here. And the regular Rod squads all together, our coffee. We're getting back. It feels like old times, Moose, with you on here today. It's fantastic.
It's
Tony from Cochrane writes in. He says, I won't pay a dime to broadcasting companies. I will buy a ticket to the Stampeders. First, they are going to lose us old timers because I think most of us think like this. Monty says, bring the CFL to CBC. Now that's gone. That horse is out of the barn, down the road, and probably dead. Monty also says, you are so funny to watch, you and Moose. So there's that.
Thanks,
BW
Monty.
from Edmonton says, I watched the interview on 3 Down. The commissioner didn't like the same question asked 3 different ways. Still going to wait to see. That's from BW. Jason in Red Deer says the deal is not great for fans, but great for creators like me who can now get more of our CFL content featured on YouTube and maybe even DAZN. Jeff the Stamps fan says, but is this new technology? Everyone else does it. No, it's not new. The CFL is just getting caught up to speed. Shane from Deer Valley. Yeah, NFL doesn't know what they're doing. Shane, the most sarcastic SOB. He's sneakily sarcastic. Carlos from Indiana says, so it's like the NFL where you have multiple paywalls to watch multiple games. I think that's why fans are up in arms over this. Do you agree with me in that when I said the CFL is going to have to become attractive whereby, because give people a reason to buy? Fair? I mean, the CFL's got to do their part in this too. They can't just sit back and collect the money.
Reason to buy. Look, Jason Kelsey was talking about the NFL because now they're looking at, or I think they are doing, a Thanksgiving Eve game the night before U.S. Thanksgiving and the Christmas games. And they've got Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football and Sunday Night Football and playoff games on Saturday. And he had talked about the NFL's superpower is the exclusivity, and they own Sunday. And I think this is a good thing. Having a little bit of scarcity in the product is not the worst thing in the world. You want it to be available, but if it's so available that it's just free every single night, people are like, all 4 games will be here next week. There's games on every night, and we never know what games the CFL are on because they're, they don't own a specific day except Friday Night Football. It becomes not as special. I think now Saturday nights become special because you have to do so. You have to open up your DAZN app. It's on every TV now. You got to settle in and you know exactly what time it's going to start, 7 o'clock Eastern, just like Friday Night Football. Growing up, I don't remember watching CFL on other nights. I did, but Friday Night Football was special. And now Saturday nights on DAZN can be special.
Shane, by the way, not that this is the Canadian hour. If I had the flag, I would wave it. But Shane says they're still working on the U.S. rights deal. And I don't know about that. But I'll tell you an interesting thing, just because we're sitting here shooting the spit. CBS Sports Network is in 60 million U.S. homes, which is a lot, but that's still a fraction of the country. ESPN is in 250 million homes. So when I'm sitting around, and I do, at these barbecues and stuff, in South Florida, it comes up that I worked in the CFL for 20 years, and people go, oh, CFL. Yeah, I used to watch that. Where'd it go? Because it's not on one of the 8 ESPN channels now, because that's what everybody has. They've gone with CBS Sports Network. Not that many people have CBS Sports Network. I'm just saying they're still working on the deal, but I would do whatever it takes to get on any one of the ESPN channels and be grateful and humble. That's why I say why I'm so grateful and humble to be on Las Vegas television and on Game Plus, whether we're on or we're not, I don't even know because I still have a job to do, but they're in charge. The networks are in charge, right? And that's of really all the leagues. Everybody wants to be on ESPN. John Ohm says the king of marketing is the NFL. The CFL needs to be uniquely different. Fair. Matt DeBuck, Coach DeBuck writes, and he says people will be betting in real time. viewership will pick up just because of that. Go, Habs, go. That's from Coach Dupont, who's originally from Verdun, Montreal, Quebec, a suburb of Montreal, just so you all know. So we're going to have to take a break here. And actually, we will talk about tonight's games because Dupont called me last night, and he says, Jake Myers, QB1 in Ottawa? Is Drew Brown hurt? And I'm like, no. I said dinner sat him down and announced it to both quarterbacks. So let's talk about the games because it's a four-banger in the CFL tonight. I don't even know which one's on. I won't be watching anyways because I'm going to be broadcasting baseball tonight, which is another damn thing. I got to pay to stream the Stanley Cup playoff game on my phone in the press box at the Ross ahead of the baseball, and I'm not sure I'm really willing to do that. I think I got to pay to listen. If memory serves, it's been a long time since I've tried to listen on the NHL radio app in Stanley Cup playoffs. Everybody's got to pay. The CFL's just getting up to speed, and everybody's mad. Hang on. We'll be right back. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line. We're broadcasting from the beautiful Golden Ticket Sports Center, and we'll be right back on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean, Brody, and the Wreck Loss teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
Two of Canada's biggest country acts. One stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour. Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
It's the RP Show. As you know, when we talk hockey, it's for the Mad Greek. From classic to loaded, pizza night starts at the Mad Greek Eatery. Order online, pick up, or dine in at themadgreekeatery.com. Text lines for Western Dodge. Experience the Western Dodge difference. Local, reliable, and driven to find the perfect vehicle for you. We're broadcasting from the Golden Ticket Sports Center. The Moose is with me, and already only one more segment with him. Darren writes in from Melford. He says, "Morning, Rod and Darren. It's been a while, Moose. I won't be getting the zone. Just saying, just my opinion. Have a hot weekend. I can handle not watching one football game on a Saturday night." I walked out on the patio this morning and went, with my coffee. I'm like, this is why I came home. It was like 27 degrees Celsius. No humidity. Perfect morning to have coffee out on the, you know those Saskatchewan summers, Moose. Noni writes in from Calgary. She says, "Hi, Rod and Moose." She says, "So nice to see you two back together again for a day. I know for a lot of us who already have cable, that includes TSN, it may piss lots off to have to subscribe to another streaming service to catch games. So might lose some fans, but hopefully it'll also gain some fans. Reality is they need another income stream." Bob in Medicine Hat writes, and he says, "Good morning, Rod and Moose. The package they delivered is great for the CFL. Let's be positive. Have a great day. Nothing comes free." And from Vintage Sasko, formerly known as Fake Gainer, he writes and he says, "Hey, Uncle Rodney and Two Smokes Moose. Looking forward to a live Rodcast feed on DAZN's CFL Saturday night." Okay, that sounds like a Stompin' Tom song. Moose, the poll question today is, what's the game of the night in the CFL preseason? Yes, there's 4 games tonight, everybody. This show is like, this hour is serving as like the perfect pregame warm-up. How about that for the games tonight? So the poll question is, what's the game of the night? And just so you know, I love it. It's split on Instagram, 25%, 25%, 25%. It's split 4 ways. Montreal taking on Ottawa. Hamilton versus Toronto. BC Lions, I feel like that's our team, at Winnipeg. And Calgary at Edmonton. Who's your game of the night?
Flip a coin, and I'm glad it's 25% across the board because that's how I feel. It's still preseason. Probably the Ottawa game because of the news that came down about Jake Maier being the starting quarterback. And, you know, I got to go back, and I assume their time overlapped in Calgary with Ryan Dinwiddie. I'd have to go back on the timeline. You would know.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It did, right? And so, I mean, that was my first thought. I'm like, there's a history. He's a Jake Maier fan. He knows what he can do. He's got the offense in mind to play to his skill set. So I'm excited to see what Jake Maier can do with Ryan Dinwiddie at quarterback. Drew Brown is a hell of a quarterback, though. A hell of a quarterback. There was talk about him exploring going back to Winnipeg potentially. So there's a lot out there. It's not the end for Drew Brown, but what an exciting opportunity for Jake Maier after leaving Saskatchewan.
Okay, well, Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in. He's at his trolling best. It must be CFL season. He says, if you are a Red-Black fan, you must be nervous. Well, Jake Maier didn't really get it done in Sask, but a change of scenery is good for everybody. I mean, look at me, look at Moose, you know. And for whatever reason, but did he had a 500-yard passing game with the Stampeders, did he not? Like, the guy can sling it, Jake Maier.
He's great.
And right, and what I think with Dinwiddie, a little early to compare him to Bill Belichick, but I do remember the guys, and Joe Rose talking about Bill Belichick. He's like, the guy's won 300 games. How many Super Bowls? Like 7, 8 between being a head coach and he's still being questioned. Belichick still being questioned that he doesn't know what he's doing. Dinwiddie could win 20 Grey Cups and he'd still be questioned, right? Can we not say the guy kind of knows what he's doing? No. Having said that, by the way, Moose, and my vote is I'm going to vote BC at Winnipeg because the Lions and their sponsors and fans have been so great to us. Like, unbelievable. I was trying to have a nap this week, and Amar Doman calls me. He goes, I got a buddy here. I got a buddy. He says he knows you. puts him on the phone. It was A.J. DeLowry. You know the content of that conversation. I'm like, oh, my God, A.J. Anyways, I can't remember what my point was, other than I'm just happy that the CFL season is underway. Oh, DeBuck, when he called me last night, he goes, I don't think there's any weak sister in the CFL this year. Everybody's good. I said, Mike Davis says the same thing. I don't remember a year where we've gone into the year and not said, oh, they're going to be bad. It's like he always knew somebody was going to be bad. And that's not happening this year.
No, like I'm thinking about it as you're saying that, and I'm like, who's going to be at the bottom of the league? So you look, at the last few seasons, and Edmonton, they're on the way up. Like, they're on the way up. They're ready to take a significant step forward. Ottawa's had their struggles. They've got a brand new head coach. They got excitement around that team. They're on the way up. Look at Calgary, same thing. I'm trying to find where, the basement dwellers are going to be. This league is going to have, I feel like, some unmatched parity. Saskatchewan coming off a Grey Cup. I know early season, they'll still be number one on most teams' power rankings and most people's power rankings, and they should be. They're the defending Grey Cup champions. They bring back a lot of key people, but they lost some people in the offseason too. What's Winnipeg going to look like? When you have Zach Collaros coming back, you've always got a chance. Hamilton, Montreal. I mean, it's going to be very, very intriguing, especially the first 6 games, to see who gets out of the chute quick.
It's just so much fun to sit back and look at the people that don't know anything, because the Saskatchewan Roughriders are going to be the best team in the CFL. Did we not watch the preseason games, for the love of God? Now, I'm terrible at math. I was on a seminar last night for investing and stock trade. I'm just bad at numbers. And my point is, I don't see how 9 teams can play 2 games each and it works out perfectly, but it did. Happens every year. How can 9 teams play each other twice? But it happens. But the Riders, I thought, looked sharp. They lost in Calgary in the first game, but they played 100 players. They looked real tight in that game at Griffith Stadium, your former home, which, by the way, did you tune in for that?
So good. That place and those venues are so good when they're full and they're popping. That is grassroots football at its finest.
Right, but the Riders look tight. They look sharp.
Yeah.
And by the way, the 30-second play clock, nobody even noticed a difference, or whatever it is, 35-second play clock. Nobody even noticed a difference. The games were actually faster. Coach DeBuck writes in and says, did Mario land anywhere? I was a little surprised that Hamilton cut Super Mario, the kick returner. What's his name? Mario. The guy that was with the Riders. Yeah, Mario Alford. Thank you. But I'm like, we get sucked in every year and think it's personal. Every year. A coach firing in the NHL. Oh, my God, he must be terrible. No, it's just time to go. I mean, people are discardable. I'm assuming somebody will pick up Mario Alford.
Yeah, I do too. I think so. Like, situation matters so much, right? I mean, thriving in one market doesn't mean you're going to thrive in another market and another place. And a coach sees things differently and has another player in mind, and a younger player, or somebody has a really good camp and all of a sudden a veteran's expendable. Stuff happens, but good players like that will have an opportunity. It might not be right away, but wait till all the camp cuts happen. Wait till we get through a week of the season. Mario Alford, stay ready.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in and says, can we trust CFL Plus to effectively show all the games? I have never had an issue, and as God is my witness, people know I'm not lying. I watch every single CFL game that I can. I do. And I've never had one issue with CFL Plus anywhere in North America. Not one time. And I've been all over the continent, as has Darren. So maybe it's a you problem, Jeff, the Stamps fan, as usual. Moose, what's the last word as you go into the weekend?
You know what? Be positive. Be open-minded.
Yeah.
Don't jump to conclusions. This is an exciting moment for the CFL. And be positive in Montreal, too. This is another exciting moment for the Montreal Canadiens. That place is going to be rocking, and they're going to have so much fun. It was making me think of when you and I were there during the Stanley Cup.
We packed a lot of fun in a short amount of days, and we didn't even go to a bar. How about that? We're at.
I remember walking down St. Catherine Street and a table of Habs fans. Rod, Darren, what are you guys doing here?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was mind-blowing. That was a god shot is what that was.
Went into the football field.
That's right. They jumped out of the table and came out into the street to see us. Mon Dieu! Okay, au revoir, mousse, je t'aime.
Yes. Have a great weekend.
He has no idea what that means. So I told him I loved him on national television. Well,
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're doing not really any off-roading. I wanted to have an hour one, as we always do, a Football Friday of CFL talk, and that's what we did. I opened up my phone just in the break to just see what's popping on social media, and they're talking about what everybody in Canada is talking about. Golden Knights general manager Kelly McCrimmon saying him not allowing Bruce Cassidy to interview with the Oilers is only news because the Oilers leaked it. That's all they're talking about in Edmonton, and I'm getting quite a kick out of that. Where are my religious people at today? They'll know this quote. What happens in the dark will eventually be exposed in the light. So Edmonton leaked it. It's out in the open. Kelly wouldn't let him talk. I'll say it again as we open the show. Bruce Cassidy will be coaching the Oilers next year, so just pipe down for everybody. And they go win the cup, Golden Knights. But speaking of that, and I'll get back to the football in a second because it is Football Friday. Jason in Red Deer writes that he says, anyone else see the nasty hit on Evan Bouchard in the Canada-U.S. game yesterday? My God, Bouch probably saw God for a few minutes. I am not following the World Hockey Championships. Not on my radar. Never has been. However, yesterday I went to Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral for lunch because I always go around and visit our wonderful sponsors. And every TV in the place is showing the Canada-U.S. game. Welcome back to Canada, Rod. God bless it. You have no idea. Unless you've not lived in Canada, it's rare. We're just used to it. We're just used to it. And the wonderful thing, I went for lunch with my sponsor, Bob. He was like, oh, man, these guys are all buddies of yours. I said, we're all Sioux Line guys. And if you don't know what that means, you don't know what that means. But it was nice to be home at Pump Jack's. Oh, which, by the way, they do our picks of everything. And Joe, our business manager, said, can you do the picks for Pump Jacks for the CFL tonight? I'm like, you really want me to pick CFL preseason games? Do you think I'm crazy? But I will, because Pump Jacks does our picks. First of all, Stanley Cup tonight. Let's go with Montreal to win. East Conference Final. I'm getting swept up a little bit in the ole, ole, ole. I am. What about you, DeBuck? You're probably upset if I pick Montreal to win. He's a Habs fan, and he says my picks are cold. All I know about CFL preseason, having been around it a few times, is that the home teams really want to win. They'll do whatever it takes to win. If it's close late in the fourth quarter, they'll put their vets in, especially in this second preseason game. It's that important to them from a marketing purpose to send their fans home happy. I'm not joking. So for that reason, I'll go with all the home teams tonight, even though, well, for a few reasons. Montreal and Ottawa. Ottawa, Davis Alexander is going to be the QB in Montreal. We all know that. In Ottawa, they've named Jake Mayer, but I feel like that's tenuous. Hamilton at Toronto. I'll just go with the home team. Argos won at that Ticats place, 20-10 last week. The BC Lions, God works in mysterious ways. I love the fact that the Lions and I have forged this friendship. And I've been friends with their staff for a long time. But for some reason, Amar Doman likes me. I feel like our energies match, or our vibration. We just get along. But I'm still going to take Winnipeg because they got a quarterback issue there. Or do they? Like, we know that Nathan Rourke's going to start tonight. He's going to be BC's quarterback. BC doesn't have anything to prove, really. Now, tonight, they got a lot to prove once the regular season starts, but not tonight. Winnipeg's got a lot to play for. There'll be a big crowd. Winnipeg will win at home tonight. And then Calgary, the Edmonton Elcamos. Edmonton's got a lot to play for. Calgary really doesn't. Plus, Calgary won at home already. What did I tell you? It's a big deal to them to win at home in the preseason. They won't care about tonight, so I'll go with the Elcamos. Jay writes in and says, the Saskatoon Mamba game tonight at 7:30. Say it with me. I don't care. 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. We're taking any and all comments and questions. Let me get back on point here. Point 3. Way back to point 3. Johendrick Penango drew a bases-loaded walk from Anthony Nunez in the 8th inning to lift the Toronto Blue Jays to a 2-1 win over the Baltimore Orioles on Thursday night. George Springer led off the 8th with a double, then was bunted over to third. After an intentional walk to Vladdy, Nunez walked Dalton Varsho to load the bases. Penango came up as a pinch hitter and walked to force in the tie-breaking run. How about that? The poll question, as always, is for Country Thunder. The biggest party of the summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson and Creed. Get your tickets now at countrythunder.com/SK. Just $20 down secures your weekend pass. The poll question today is, what's the game of the night in the CFL preseason? And, hey, Moose hasn't changed. He didn't want to pick one. He said that's just Moose. Okay. Although I didn't pick BC to win, I did pick their game as the game of the night. BC at Winnipeg. But the last I saw was 25% split. That's on Instagram. We have Jason from Red Deer to inform us on what the YouTube poll is, because those results aren't readily available to me. But that's the poll for Country Thunder. What's the game of the night in the CFL preseason? One of these games, I think, is on TV tonight, but I'll be calling baseball. Point 4. This is, I just blurted this out early. This is actually point 4 in the lineup. Commissioner Stuart Johnston wanted a new TV deal in place before the start of the 2026 CFL season. On Thursday, the former TSN executive delivered the league's biggest broadcast agreement ever. The league announced it signed a 6-year deal with Bell Media, the parent company of TSN, to remain the CFL's majority broadcaster. But beginning next season, streaming service DAZN will exclusively carry a Saturday night game each week as part of a new partnership that also includes YouTube as a premier platform partner. Cue the explosion of CFL fans. I never really got into this with Darren. I didn't get into it at all with Darren earlier, but I really do feel the people that say that they're going to walk away from the CFL because of the rule changes, the field changes, now this, I don't really think that they will. And the one thing, to my peril, or whatever you want to say it, credit, if you will, depending how you look at it, I do always go back and forth with the fans. I have forever. And that's not just Rider fans, but fans of every team, because it's fun, and I like doing it. And I had a lot of fans write in on Facebook last night, because I said that. I wrote it on our Facebook page. I don't think any CFL fan threatening to walk away actually will. And I had a lot of fans write in and say, yeah, watch me. Like they're 10. But I am of this open-minded nature. I'm of this inclusivity nature. Like, if you really want to walk away, go ahead. I think it's only going to be you that gets hurt. And I really feel like it's a Saturday night and your Riders are playing and it's only on DAZN. You'll be that, plunking down your credit card to watch. I don't know. Can you really call yourself that big of a fan if you're willing to walk away? I feel like that's today's meme. But I don't really want to stir everybody up either. I'm kind of past that point of my life. I don't know. It's fun, though. 902-518-3033, as I said, is the text line. Somebody wrote in here earlier and said, next, the CFL needs to go with Prime, and they need to go with... Guy, they just announced a 6-year deal with DAZN, YouTube, and 6 years. That's maybe a discussion to have 6 years, 7 years from now. They're not going with those other streaming platforms. They just announced this one. Laverne writes in from the Frontier City, says, welcome home, RP. 3rd Stanley Cup appearance for Vegas in 10 years. Oh, Kelly, you have got it so figured out. Go get them, Golden Knights. Honestly, take a drink every time Rod says he's known Kelly McCrimmon since he was 16 years old. I've known Kelly McCrimmon since I was 16 years old. So none of this surprises me. And as a matter of fact, a lot of us old dub guys have been getting on the phone and chortling and laughing because we had to deal with this for years. Kelly winning, Kelly getting his way. It's the way that it is. And now the rest of the NHL is figuring it out. Coach DeBuck writes in and says, home field advantage in the CFL will be key at the beginning this year. Support your teams. There you go, Coach. It's been fun talking about it. We're not going to talk about it. Well, I'll see. Mike Davis coming up next hour from Vegas. They just won the in-season cup of the Indoor Football League, and he said he could talk about the CFL for days. So we'll see. There's, from what I can see, nothing going on other than Travis Kelce's having a baby and bought into the Cleveland Guardians. I'd rather talk about the games, and that's what we do here. Jay in Saskatoon writes in, he says, oh, LOL, you talked Rattlers last year. Yeah, that's the point. That was when my buddy was the commissioner. That was when my buddy was the president of the Rattlers. They're both gone. And we support those who support us. Therefore, I don't care about the Saskatoon Mamba or the Canadian Elite Basketball League. Not even that much. On the poll result, well, number one, Jeff the Stamps fan says, yes, Taylor Elgersma starts tonight. Well, that'll be interesting. I didn't see that one. Updated poll results leading the way. Country Thunder poll. BC, my BC Lions are leading the poll at Winnipeg of the game of the night. 49% of the vote. Next with 26% Calgary, Edmonton. Then 7% Hamilton, Toronto. And then the rest, Montreal, Ottawa. You figure out the math. Hour 2 coming up next. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
1
As they say now, let's go! It is a Football Friday on the RP Show with a lot of hockey talk mixed in, plus some MLB and NBA. Get comfortable, everybody, as we welcome the viewers across Nevada on Silver State Sports. Where you been? Actually, that's what's been blowing up my phone, which I'll tell you about in a second. Mike Davis is joining us next. Ta-da! In the next segment, today's guest, our Football Friday panelist, Mike Davis of the Vegas Nighthawks, fresh off their championship win in the in-season IFL Cup. Mike Davis will join us from Sin City coming up to explain all of that. But yeah, there was no show yesterday, and my phone blew up from Vegas viewers going, "Where were you?" I'll tell you right now. So when I come back to Canada for the summer, I get all my health stuff taken care of, and I'd been referred to the heart specialist. I don't know why. So I had to go to the hospital yesterday. I kept on my hospital tag to prove it. And I'm doing the stress test, running on the treadmill, and she's like, "Okay, you're done, but you're not showing any signs of stress, but do you want to stop?" And I'm like, I could keep going. She's like, "Well, just stop." She spit out this is the heart specialist. I spit out the results, and then the doctor's waving him in my face. I'm not going to say his name, but he's like, "Your heart is perfect. Why are you here?" I'm like, "I don't know. Thought you could tell me. I'm sorry to waste your time." And he goes, No, these are the these are the good ones to have. You're good. So I have no idea why we missed the show yesterday or why I was sent to the heart specialist, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And here we are to talk sports here today. The warm-up brought to you by our good friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel Group, the preferred travel partner of the RP Show, and the CFL's BC Lions. They're very quickly becoming my team, I got to tell you. When it comes to sports trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. We're going to open with a Stanley Cup and just all things hockey. But I was on the air the other day in Edmonton Sports Radio 1440, and they were doing a video call, and they were like, "Why are you in that gym? Why aren't you in front of a moose or something, since you're in Moose Jaw?" And I said, "Why don't you just worry about yourself?" How about that, Kevin Carius? And secondly, as I look at this today, and I went down, and that's another sponsor, Ultimate Fan Zone. You've been hearing me talk about it all winter. Ultimate Fan, I popped down there. They got all your Golden Knights gear. They got every NHL team, NBA, NFL, you name it. I'm like, with this this works pretty good. This looks pretty good on Silver State Sports. Am I right? Where you love us because we talk hockey. We're Vegas's hockey show. The Montreal Canadiens are fighting for their playoff lives tonight as they take on the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 5 of the NHL's Eastern Conference Final. The Canadiens enter the game in Raleigh down 3-1 in the best-of-7 series after the Hurricanes skated to a dominant 4-0 win at the Bell Center in Game 4 Wednesday. It's the first time in these Stanley Cup playoffs that Montreal has faced a 2-game series deficit. And let's just put that in park for a second. I'm going to be watching as much of this game as I can. I'm going to be broadcasting baseball tonight. Red Sox and the Millers. I'll have the game on in the press box. I've picked for Pump Jack's Cathedral and Steakhouse, Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. The locations are Pump Jack's Cathedral and Weyburn. I've already picked Montreal to win tonight. Sorry about that, Coach Matt DeBuck, who watches every day, and he's originally from Montreal. Football coach in South Florida. I'm torn on this. I'm really getting swept away in this ole, 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 team of destiny thing. But Carolina just looks so strong. And what was the score in Game 1 where Montreal went into Raleigh and just had their way with them? That whole rest versus rust. How's it look now, that whole rest versus rust argument? Was anybody thinking that Carolina was just going to wilt and die in this series? So they got motorboated in Game 1 by the Habs, and then Carolina's just locked it down. Games 2, 3, and 4. I guess we'll find out tonight what Montreal has in them, what they're made of. Should be a hell of a hockey game. I'm just loving the hockey. By the way, 902-518-3033. Dan in Winnipeg writes in and says, "Why won't Montreal Canadiens play Galley tonight? It could be his last game." He's talking about Brendan Gallagher, the former captain. Just leave the coaching to the coaches. Tony from Cochrane writes in, he says, because your heart grew 3 times larger when you landed north of the 49th. Yeah, I get. But we own, or did own, this time slot across Canada in the 55-plus age demographic. So you all will find this kind of entertaining, I think. I get my health care taken care of when I'm in Canada in the summers. I go back every summer, June, July, August, and I love it. I'll do it for as long as I can. A citizen of both countries. It's the greatest life ever. But just before I left, end of August last year, I went to the heart specialist. They took an ultrasound. Just because my doctor said I should go, there was no reason. I was having no chest pain, nothing. So I did the ultrasound. I go back to Florida, and then the doctor's office calls and says, doctor would like you to come in and discuss your results. I'm like, I'm in Florida for the next 9 months. Can you tell me what it is? We can't do that. You need to be here. I said, well, when are you back? I said, not till May. I'll see you in May. And then I come in and do the stress test. They're like, there's nothing wrong with you. No, we don't even know why you're here. Mon Dieu. That means my God for the heathens. Point 2. Claude Lemieux, a 4-time Stanley Cup champion whose ferocious, hard-hitting style of play angered opponents and sometimes overshadowed his prodigious skills and ability to deliver in the biggest games, has died after taking his own life, according to authorities. He was 60. Everybody is rattled by this, whether you knew him or you didn't. So the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office said Thursday that deputies responded just after 3 a.m. to the scene of an apparent suicide at the family's furniture store in Lake Park, Florida. The office said the victim was believed to be Lemieux, who was found in a rear warehouse by one of his sons. It's something that we're all trying to get our head around because he just brought the torch out for the last game 3 of this Montreal series. And we've been talking on this show, making a big deal about the torch being brought out by the Habs greats. We were all shocked. It was Claude Lemieux on Sunday. 3 days later, he's dead, and he took his life in Lake Park, Florida. I live in Palm Beach County. And the funny thing is, none of this is funny, but my phone's blowing up from my Florida friends. Are like, did you know Claude Lemieux? So our condolences if you do. And I'm like, no. They think that because I'm Canadian, I know every hockey player. Close. But not everyone. I didn't know Claude Lemieux, but he had a furniture store. That's where my coach Lisa's store is in Lake Park, Florida. Brent from Wellington, Florida's marina's in Lake Park, Florida. Like, what? Claude Lemieux had a furniture store, and he took his life in 3. And forget about all that. Like Chris Nyland, who was on this show last week, Knuckles. It's Canada, okay? So hockey runs on a loop. If it's not live, they're playing replays on TV in Canada. It's amazing. And last night, they were showing a clip of Claude Lemieux raising the Coupe de Stanley, 1986. Who was the first guy to hug him on the ice? Chris Nyland in the Saddle Dome. So you think Knuckles might be rocked by this a little bit. And if you follow any of Chris Nyland's social media, he put a photo up of the 3, Knuckles, Claude Lemieux, and Serge Savard at a game last week. And he's like, hug your friends. When's the last, you never know when's the last time you're going to see him. Now, I live like that every day. You know that. You watch this show every day, but not everybody does. Enough, I guess, about all that, other than condolences to Lemieux, his family and friends, and just a story that we're having a really tough time getting our head around. Because the one thing is, everybody that saw Claude, they're like, he looks so good. Don't judge a book by its cover. Kirk in Tirana writes in, he says, hey, Rod, on the Western Dodge text line, by the way, experience the Western Dodge difference, local, reliable, and driven to find the perfect vehicle for you. Hi, Rod. Is the tax man to blame for the Stanley Cup drought in Canada? States that have no personal income tax, like Florida and Nevada, have won 5 of the last 6 Stanley Cups. No, it's just an excuse, and the Edmonton Oilers were 1 goal away from winning the Stanley Cup 2 years ago, losing 2-1 in Game 7. It's an excuse. It's not the taxes. I don't have the time or the interest in getting into all of that. But speaking of the Oilers, by the way, I'll drop it now because we're on Vegas television. I've been saying it this hour and last hour. I brought yesterday. We made a meme out of it. Bruce Cassidy. This is the if you're not talking about the games and the World Hockey Championship, everybody in Canada is talking about Bruce Cassidy and the Golden Knights not allowing him or the Oilers to interview for the Oilers' vacant head coaching job. And so, can I just say, because it's that also is out of control. And I saw the GM of the Golden Knights, Kelly McCrimmon, on Toronto television the other day, having to defend his decision to not allow Bruce to interview for the Oilers, and he looked pissed off. And I've known Kelly a very long time, and I've seen Kelly pissed off. I've also seen him very happy. He's pissed off to have to deal with this. And his quote was, "This is only news because the Oilers leaked it." Is it nefarious? I don't think so. It's just what's gone on in sports forever. We've been talking about this for 2 weeks. But can we just say, pump the brakes? Bruce Cassidy will be coaching the Oilers next year for reasons that I brought up last hour. The Knights don't want to be paying him to do nothing. He wants to coach, and even if he doesn't, he's got a year to stay at home in a tax-free state making $4.5 million to golf. So it's all – and the things that Cassidy said on Spit and Chicklets podcast the other day, where he said this is disappointing, and he said, "What? I'm not good enough to coach the Golden Knights, but I'm too good to talk to these other I don't know." Bruce is speaking from a position of pain. I've been there, and I said things that I regret. Some people let me off the hook. Others never will. So I would suggest, Bruce, watch what he say. He's in a good position, and he'll be coaching the Edmonton Oilers next year. And the reason the pundits have not picked up on my quote is because they all know that I'm right, and they don't want to admit it. Welcome to our business. BW in Edmonton writes in, he says, "You are right, Rod. Your colors are matching your backgrounds." To the Edmonton sports radio guy that said I needed to be somewhere else, just worry about yourself. 1:11 Eastern for the live viewers, 11:11 Mountain in God's time zone, 11:11. I think we've discussed the importance of mindset enough already. Mike Davis coming up in the next segment from the Vegas Nighthawks. Great football guy. We're talking about his championship. And by the way, I don't know if I'll have time to get to us in this segment. Well, I may not, but we're big CFL people. Canadian Football League. Mike is alum of the CFL. That's how we got to know each other and got to be great friends. Let me rip through this, and then I'll tell you why it's exciting to us. The picks are for Pump Jack Steakhouse and Saloon. I picked Montreal to win tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Point 3, Yohendrick Penango drew a bases-loaded walk from Anthony Nunez in the 8th inning to lift the Toronto Blue Jays to a 2-1 win over the Baltimore Orioles on Thursday night. Series continues tonight at Rogers Center. Point 4, Victor Wembanyama had 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks, and the San Antonio Spurs sent the Western Conference Finals back to Oklahoma City for Game 7, routing the Thunder 118-91 Thursday night. Game 7 goes Saturday night. And point 5, Commissioner Stuart Johnston of the Canadian Football League wanted a new TV deal in place before the start of the 2026 CFL season. On Thursday, the former TSN executive delivered the league's biggest broadcast deal ever. The league announced it has signed a 6-year extension with Bell Media, the parent company of TSN, that's Canada's ESPN, to remain the league's majority broadcaster. But beginning next season, the streaming service DAZN will exclusively carry a Saturday night game each week as part of a partnership that also includes YouTube as a premier platform partner. And cue people's heads exploding, CFL fans, because they're changing the rules, they're changing the size of the field, they're changing a lot of things. People don't like change, particularly in Canada, and especially not in the Canadian Football League. And people are going to have to actually pay to watch one game of the week, and they're threatening to never be fans again. And I've said, I do believe those that are threatening to walk away from the league won't actually do it. And they're writing into our social media going, yeah, watch us, Rod. I would say this. then you lose. You lose. We'll talk about this a little more. Mike Davis has some thoughts. We did talk on the phone about this yesterday. Whatever Mike wants to talk about, he's the guest, which, by the way, is brought to you by Prairie Panels. Building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Visit prairiepanels.ca or call 306-985-0050. On that whole vein, there's not a lot going on in the NFL right now. You all know that. We're not going to bring Mike on to talk hockey. He has made that very clear. So we'll be talking football with Mike Davis next. There are 4 preseason games in the CFL tonight. You can vote on our YouTube pool, our Instagram page. What's the game of the night? Montreal at Ottawa, Hamilton at Toronto, my BC Lions at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, or Calgary at Edmonton. Believe it or not, there's drama and intrigue in all of these games. And I don't think Mike minds talking about it. When we come back, 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. And we'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on a variety of platforms, Game Plus streaming, podcast, WQVZ radio, and right here on Silver State Sports.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back. Got a smile on my face. I just saw my guy Thomas Soto, the star shortstop for the Millers. We get going tonight with our home opener tonight against the Red Sox. He set a league record for runs scored last year. I think it was 111. Gotta love baseball. Mike Davis joins us. Hello, coach from the Vegas Nighthawks. You like baseball, Mike? You strike me as a bit of a baseball player back in the day. Oh, why don't I hear Mike? Hang on. Oh, hang on. We can't hear you, Mike. What happened? His mic has been muted. We will fix it, and we'll bring Mike Davis on right after this. You had him, Corey, but now you don't. What's going on? What should I be prepared for here? Mike Davis of the Vegas Nighthawks, fresh off their championship in the in-season Cup for the Indoor Football League. Mike Davis joining us from Vegas, which is odd because he joins us almost every Friday, and we don't have an issue. While we await him, that gives us an opportunity to bring up the sports update, and you please, Corey, let me know when Mike is ready to go. I feel like I'll hear him when we are. The most anticipated series of the NBA postseason is headed to a winner-take-all Game 7 after the Spurs blew past the Thunder 118-91. We got you, Mike. We have you. I got you.
Yep,
I hear your dulcet tones. All right, let's bring Mike Davis back on. Coach, you can answer. There we go. Did you ever play baseball? You strike me as a baseball guy.
I did. Baseball was my first love. Love the game.
Stop. Mm-hmm. Really? And let me guess, you were really good at it.
I was above average.
I thought golf was your first. I've seen this guy walk out of the golf course and set the course record, Mike Davis. Anyways, you're here to talk football, so tell me, listen, all the football guys are saying, what was this thing Mike won up there in New Jersey with the Nighthawks? Can you explain it, please?
Yeah, the league tried to do like an in-season tournament. Basically, it counted as 2 road games for us. We went to New Jersey. There's a couple prospective owners there. They wanted to see how it would go over, and it went over great. For us, we went 2-0 on the road. Won a little in-season cup, and tried to continue to get better as a football team.
Don't act like it's a small deal, Mike. I know winning is old hat to you, but that's a big deal. And you played in a mall? You got to tell me about that.
Yeah, so they had like it's called American Dream. It's the second largest mall in the U.S. It was Memorial Day weekend, so it was packed. Right. And surprisingly, the energy was electric in there. They did a great job of hosting us and putting it on. And, we were fortunate. We played well at the right times and we're peaking at the right time. And, we got the second half to go.
So how many people would have been there to watch?
I bet there was 3,500, 4,000 people there.
In a mall. Okay, I love it. Okay, kind of strikes. It reminds, for our Western Canadian viewers, West Edmonton Mall has the hockey rink in there, but they couldn't hold 3,500 to 4,000. Did you ever go to West Ed on your road trips in the CFL, Mike?
I did. I did venture out there. You got to experience things when when you're traveling the world and traveling in Canada, and everybody kept talking about it. So we experienced it for sure.
Was that a setup similar? I'm sorry. We're all fascinated by this. Was the setup sort of like that?
Very similar, right? Like, so the American Dream is 3 levels. They had bleachers and stuff on the bottom level. The second level was a suite level. And the third level, it's ironic, the third level is a food court. So literally people are there eating, watching the game.
I'm jealous. It sounds like a great time. Well, congratulations on winning that. I mean, winning never does get old. So what's up so you're now into the second half of the IFL season. Fill us in, please.
Yeah, so right now we're the number 1 seed in the West. We got 8 games to go. We play a tough they play a tough Quad City game coming in this weekend, and we just got to continue the momentum. That's all. We have to control what we can control, and as long as we do that, we don't have to worry about it.
All right. Well, the viewers love when you come on. They got a lot of football questions already coming in, Coach. Hang on. Down, boys. Because you're sitting there in Vegas. The Raiders, I feel like the sexy team, which who said that ever, really? But what's the vibe there in Sin City with the Raiders, number 1 overall pick and all the rest? What are you hearing?
Good. Obviously they did a great job in free agency. They've done a great job in the draft. Obviously, signing Kirk Cousins, getting Mendoza. The cupboard's full, so to speak, and the energy's high. Right? Obviously, they got a long way to go to revamp the team, but they've done what they need to do to be contenders. Right? And I'm not saying Super Bowl contenders, but I'm talking about just contenders and winning games and things like that. Obviously, depending on injuries and how the game goes, it will dictate and see how that works out.
Well, let me ask you something. You know that hockey's my first love. Dad worked in the NHL for 26 years. We all know that a rebuild on average takes 5 years in the NHL. What do you think in the NFL it would be, especially when you're the Raiders, which you're picking number one overall, which means you're the worst team in the NFL? What's the rule of thumb for a rebuild in the NFL?
I would say 3 years. It all depends on your cap situation. Like the Raiders had a ton of cap space, and I've made this very clear. They probably went out and I think they got 7 quality starters in free agency, which is going to help their team. They got Max Crosby back that, so they're in a situation where they can be successful, right? The defense has been good. They needed a couple pieces. They got them. Offense has been good. They lacked a quarterback. They lacked some O-line help. They addressed both of those. And then they went out and got some speed at receiver. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Obviously, you got to have the ball bounce your way in any sport, and especially in football, and we'll go from there.
Very, very interesting what you say about Max Crosby. Yeah, they got him back 3 days later. If there was ever a lesson in watch what you say on your way out of town. Like, how do you think that relationship? I think it seems fine coming back in 2026 with him and the Raiders.
It seems like they've buried all their old issues, and it's onward and upward would be what I would say.
Well, that's what you got to do. And then before we get into some of the other things that I know you're dying to talk about and our viewers are too, what's the city going through with the Golden Knights going to the Stanley Cup?
I mean, everybody loves a winner. I mean, think about Bill Foley, right? And I don't want to make this about him, but it should be. They went to, this is the third finals in 9 years, right? His Bournemouth team is out of relegation. His feeder team, Auckland FC, just won the championship. We won the championship last year. Like, they're going back to the Stanley Cup finals when people thought they weren't going to make the playoffs this year. And that team is just the puck is hot right now. And people love to see it.
Yeah. Well, it came up in my Facebook memories this morning. 11 years ago today, I interviewed Bill Foley in the lobby of the Suncoast Casino in North Las Vegas. And that was before they'd even played a game. And there was just something coming off that guy of, you work for him. There's just something of that guy. So, anyways, let's from the fans. Your boy Krish writes in. Krish, you know who I mean. He says, hey, Coach, which indoor football league organization has elevated the most guys to the CFL and UFL in the calendar year? 2026 calendar year, just curious. Do you have an answer for that?
It would be neck and neck between us and Orlando.
Is that right?
Exact number.
Okay. And that's his team, right? Yeah. Bill writes in. Sure. Bill writes in and says, good morning, crew. Say go, Argos, go. 4 games in the CFL tonight. Our poll question is, what's the game of the night? I'm saying BC at Winnipeg, but they're all good. You got your eye on that as much as you can?
Yeah, we have a lot of guys up there, right? Like, obviously, Desmond Bland and James Caesar are both in Toronto. Caesar's getting the start at halfback. Bland is not playing because he solidified his starting spot at left tackle. You got Mayan and Hanatu playing D-line for BC. You have Hunter Pontius playing guard or tackle for BC. I mean, there's so many guys that we've had here. Tucker Horn I think he's getting the start in Toronto at quarterback. It's fun to watch. This is, you watched last time as everything was going on, and like the Argos Hamilton game. It's a torrential downpour. You can't evaluate there. That's impossible, right? So it's interesting to see. I need to see some good weather. I want to see some good football. See these young guys play and get a shot at their dream.
Yeah, I always I scoff, I guess, when people say they don't care about preseason. I'm like, this is what you should care about. Do you not want to see how it's made? But it's funny because our business manager, Joe, goes, can you do picks for the CFL games tonight? I'm like, you want me to pick CFL preseason games? Have you fallen on your head? You can't pick these games. What's the coach's mindset going into games like game 2, the final preseason game? What's the mindset?
Well, I think you're in my mind, you have probably 6 to 12 roster spots that you're trying to evaluate. And it's not the starters. It's, hey, who's going to be your position player that can graduate to be a starter, right? And those are the guys that who's your big 4 teamers, who's going to surprise you, and when they get the first spot that they're not a great practice player, but when the lights come on, they're fantastic. Who's going to surprise you?
That's the fun part about it. I don't know why anybody would not be excited about it. Jeremy writes in from Winnipeg. He says, hey, Coach, are you surprised Patrick Mahomes is already throwing the ball in OTAs?
No, because he's a pro and he's a captain, right? Those guys want to be great. They haven't had a great last year, right? But they were below their expectations, right? And so from then, it's time to, hey, they're not Super Bowl or bust, but they want to be Super Bowl contenders every year, and that's the focus on Kansas City. That's what Andy Reid does. That's what Patrick Mahomes does, and so no, I'm not surprised at all.
Well, the other thing, though, Mike, that I've never asked you about, I'll ask you now when we're on television, is you're dealing in this pro sports game with athletic therapy, sports medicine doctors. I came up in an era, as did you. You blow your knee, your career is done, usually. And now you got guys coming back, and I feel like they're coming back faster. And I've never talked to you about this because it's not something that we talk about. But with you, what are you seeing in the sports medicine field in terms of guys coming back?
Well, I think like ACLs used to be 9 to 12 months. Now they're 6 to 8 months, right? Shoulders used to be 6 to 9 months. Now they're 4 to 6 months. Just the advance of the surgeries and the rehab and the introduction of PRP, which is like, it's where they take the blood out and they spin it with plasma and put it back in the issue in the issue area. I mean, for example, like you can drain a knee, or you can scope a knee and have PRP done, and instead of being out 6 weeks, you can be back in 2 or 3. Like it just speeds up the recovery process, and surgeries are now being done with that, and it's cutting edge stuff.
Well, that's why. I mean, I'm kind of out of that. I'm not working for teams. So, do you guys share resources? You got 1 million teams under that umbrella where you're at. You share resources, or does each team have your own people? How does that work?
No, each of our teams has their own people. I don't get involved with the Golden Knight people. Like obviously, our trainer is now running the Golden Knights medical staff and Steve McCauley. But so if I have questions, I can go to him and he'll advise us what to do. But our training staff and doctors are the same as were when he was here. So they're fantastic.
Mike Davis with us from the Vegas Nighthawks Indoor Football League team, and we'll let him go here before too long, but the viewers have football questions for you. Tony writes in, he says, Mike, would you start Fernando Mendoza or let Kirk Cousins mentor him? That's the question. How do you answer that?
You're a fool if you start Mendoza. In my opinion, you're a fool. You went out and signed Kirk Cousins to mentor him, to show him how to be a pro. And if they come out and they win, sit Mendoza as long as you can sit him. Now, if they come out and they're terrible, the pressure is going to be on, and they're going to end up starting him. Which, who's the one? I think Peyton Manning's the only quarterback that's starting as a rookie that's had success. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what I read a while back. So you want him to learn, like the speed of the game's faster, the playbook stuff, and the guy seems like he's a genius. But it's
and
just
mature.
You got to keep him,
yeah, and
for
mature.
sure.
But yeah, which is a really big deal. In your CFL time, did you ever cross paths with George Cortez?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so very close friend of mine in Houston, and he always said, he's like, Rod, we'd like to have 3 years before a quarterback starts. I'm like, well, George, that's just not going to happen. But ideally, what would it be, Mike, before you felt the guy was real ready?
Well, I think now, back then, it was easy to have 3 years, right? Now we live in an instant society where everybody wants instant results. So you're not going to get 3 years, right? If you can get a year under somebody's, in a system and play year 2, I would say that's sufficient. They're not going to let you wait 3 years unless you're winning.
Spoken like a true coach for George to say that. But in the case of Mendoza or any first-round pick, what's the biggest worry of throwing him in too soon? Getting hurt or destroying his confidence? Or are they even?
Well, I think it's both. But you look at over the last 10 years, I believe every starting quarterback that started as a rookie, that head coach has gotten fired the same year or after the year. Like, obviously you got the number 1 pick because you're a bad football team. So you throw that on a rookie that you can't mentor somebody. Normally it goes from bad to worse before it ever gets better.
So Clint Kubiak would probably want to play Kirk Cousins if it was up to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who knows? You'd like to think that the coach makes the decisions, but I mean, you're fortunate. You have the coach and GM role, right, Mike?
I do.
Yeah, your committee meetings are in the mirror every morning, that's what everybody wants. Jeremy says Mahomes sat for a year behind Smith, then played the next year. Alex Smith, full first season, 50 tutties thrown. Right, so he learned the game for a year. That same Krish in Orlando says Vegas has the healthiest team and the least amount of injuries in the league. Great resources. Is that a fact, Mike?
I would, yeah. I mean, obviously our training staff does an amazing job, and we practice very efficiently. And we preach prehab, not rehab.
Yeah? Explain, please.
It's all, we have a full setup: hot tub, cold tub, Normatec boots, Theraguns, dry needling, chiropractors here right now, massage. Like, so for our guys, like, hey, get in and stay healthy as fast and as long as you can to minimize the injuries and the nagging stuff. Like, obviously, if you have an injury, some things you can't avoid, right? But soft tissue stuff, making sure your body feels good, that's all stuff that's load management, right? And how you be a pro, right? So we have access to all that stuff, and that's what helps.
And let me guess, the players listen because they believe that you can help them get on the field and stay on the field.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously they want it's hard to get promoted to the CFL or the UFL or the NFL if you're not playing football. So what are you doing to make sure that you stay on the field? Get in here early and take care of your body.
All right, Coach, we have a minute left with you. Give us a sell job for all our Vegas viewers, why they should get down to your facility for the game this weekend. What are they going to see?
Fast pace. Obviously, you got one of the better teams in the East that struggled this year in Quad City. Obviously, they were 13-3 last year. Should be a barn burner. Obviously, we have to control our own destiny. We have to keep our foot on the gas from a Vegas side of things. But there's never a dull moment, and it's a great atmosphere.
All right, sounds good. When's kickoff?
4:30 Sunday. First 1,000 kids get a free kids jersey.
Oh, love it. All right, from the Vegas Nighthawks. Coach, always good to see you. Congrats again on one on up at New Jersey. Go Golden Knights. Hope to talk with you in a week. Keep in touch.
Thanks, Rod.
Mike Davis with us from the Vegas Nighthawks and the Indoor Football League. And again, they are home Sunday to Quad City. When we come back, we'll continue that sports update, which we were cracked the lid on a few moments ago. And viewer takeover the rest of the way. And I'll get to all of those questions from the viewers. Hang on, everybody. 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's presented by Western Dodge, and we'll return in a moment. You're tuned in to the RP Show. Game Plus streaming, YouTube Live, podcast, WQVZ Radio, and, of course, here in Nevada on Silver State Sports. We'll be right back.
Ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center.
Now,
The the Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at SaskTix.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs guy through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. Wonderful chat with Mike Davis there. And again, they're home this weekend to Quad City, Vegas Nighthawks. A lot of exciting things going on. We opened the show talking about Golden Knights hockey. It is a football Friday, and my goodness, we just came out of a full segment talking football with Mike. There's a lot of things that I would like to get to in the next 18 minutes before we go off the air. Where do I start? My Facebook memories showed today, 11 years ago today, I interviewed Golden Knights owner Bill Foley in the lobby of the Suncoast Casino in Vegas. And you see why Mike loves working for that guy, Bill Foley, the owner of the Golden Knights and the Silver Knights and the Nighthawks and the women's hockey team that's coming there. I'm probably forgetting a few. They're going after an NBA team now. There's just something that is just exudes success off of Bill Foley. He talks like us, like he's literally one of us. He's a self-made billionaire. And here's the thing with all the crap that's being thrown at them right now by the fans and media across the NHL. Go back and look. The people that have been with that team since they started 9 seasons ago, they're still with them. So they treat their people great. You just got to win. It's got to win. We won't have a problem. I like that. The other thing, by the way, that's very Home Hardware is a Canadian retail chain. It's exactly like it sounds, Home Hardware. And all the rage in this area where I'm spending the summer was Brock Lesnar came up and did a meet and greet with fans. The lineup went for blocks. It's like literally, I think everybody I know lined up to meet Brock Lesnar. This was yesterday at Home Hardware. And I just wanted to make a note of that, by the way, because I did an event with Brock Lesnar. And like a lot of these got Brock Lesnar and Marty McSorley were the guest speakers at an event that I hosted. And I knew Marty from before. I knew that Marty was an unbelievable good guy. He's not just a big bruising bully. But I thought Brock Lesnar might have been. Yeah, he is at one time the world's greatest combat superstar. I'm not sure that he still is now, although I know he's still active. But Brock Lesnar was super cool, too. And not as big as... I'm taller than him. He's 3 times as wide. But Lesnar was great. As a matter of fact, we got on the stage. I, of course, do a little research before I interview these guys. I got a photo of it, and I was thinking of posting it. And I'm like, nah, I'll just let everybody else post their photos of their time with Brock Lesnar. But I will tell the story. And I said, you were born and raised in Webster, South Dakota, and tonight you're in Assiniboia, Saskatchewan. What happened in between? And he spoke for like 45 minutes on the one question. You were born in Webster, South Dakota. Tonight you're in Assiniboia. What happened in between? And away he went. Fascinating interview. Fascinating. About being a D lineman for the Minnesota Vikings after he'd toured all over Europe with WWE. So he hurt his knee with the Vikings in training camp, and they said, we're going to send you to NFL Europe. He's like, yeah, I don't want to do that. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, I've been to Europe. I don't like it. So if I'm not staying in Mini with the Vikings, I quit. So he quit. Yeah, okay. There was one question he told me not to ask. And the intuition in my mind, the voice in my head just said, and don't bring it up now. So I won't. But what do you think the one question was? You might be able to guess it. Just before we went on stage, he goes, you can ask me anything, just don't ask me about my wife. There it is. Because Sable is very popular. That's what it was. It slipped. Not a big deal. I feel like maybe he gets asked too much about it. He doesn't want to be asked about it anymore. I don't know. They're together, and they got their young kids. That was what it was. Oops. Arlen Bruce writes in and says, AB, he says, RP, fantastic show as always. Brock Lesnar and I are friends. We went to Minnesota together. What a giant human. Thick, right, AB? Not overly tall, but just a really great guy. And I will say this. So he answered that question for 45 minutes, and then he took fan questions for 15 minutes, and then he's like, okay, I'm done. Let's end this. Okay. You don't tell Brock Lesnar no to anything, I don't feel like. So, yeah, yesterday he had a meet and greet at Home Hardware, and that is all the rage. Producer Corey, you must have seen some photos of people that were there, I would assume. Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody's going crazy about it. Yeah, I wasn't one of them either. But I've met him before. Okay, we'll finish off that sports update, and we will get to viewer takeover right after this and overtime on the RP Show.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back for Overtime, everybody. Very excited to see my friends Randy and Michelle at Overtime Hockey Lanes this summer. They're in Calgary, 28th Street Northeast, an amusement park for hockey players. Kids are driving you nuts in the house. School's almost out. Drop them off at Overtime Hockey Lanes. You got to pay, of course, but you'd have to pay anywhere. Let Randy and Michelle take care of them, and they won't be disappointed, and you won't be disappointed. Overtime Hockey Lanes, give them a follow on all their social media. There's always something fun going on there. From the text line, 902-518-3038, Bob writes in and says, "Good day, Rod. Bob from Medicine Hat. Have a great weekend, my friend. Talk to you Monday." Glad you found us, Bob in Medicine Hat. By the way, what am I doing this weekend? I'm glad you asked. We got baseball games I'm broadcasting tonight and Saturday. Red Sox in town. I don't know who we're playing Saturday. Give us a follow on the social media, the team's social media on Instagram, at Miller Express Baseball, if you want to see what we're doing. They do a great job there, Michaela, on the social media. And then Saturday afternoon, I do want to say this. I'm heading into the Queen City. Retired pro football player and WWE star Glenn Kulka is the guest speaker at Regina's Battle for Youth Recovery. This is to prevent substance abuse and mental health issues, to prevent them if we can. And I brought this up now because Mike Gentile is a morning radio guy in Toronto who I wasn't following before. I'm not sure I even knew him, but this came across my feed this morning. I've retweeted it, and we're supporting each other now because he wrote this. The Claude Lemieux story. He's the former four-time Stanley Cup champion who took his life earlier this week, 3 days after bringing the torch into the Montreal Canadiens game, recognized as a Montreal Canadiens legend, took his life 3 days later. Mike Gentile from Fan 590 Radio in Toronto writes, the Claude Lemieux story today reminds me how angry I got when people that are ignorant and stupid mocked Victor Hedman's absence from Tampa while struggling with mental health. We are beyond the point where the stigma should still exist. We can do better and be better. And then from there, it brought in predictable idiot comments. He couldn't be more right with that. We need to support people that are struggling. Nobody knew Claude Lemieux's friends, one of which was on this show last week, Knuckles Nyland, are having a terrible time with this because Lemieux looked great. He seemed fine. Clearly, he was not. So the recovery event that we're having on Saturday, 2 till 5. If you can join us at Dark Hall, is to speak to kids about if you're struggling, reach out, because we can't have the Claude Lemieux situation. And it's far, far, far too prevalent. So, anyways, that's what I do in my spare time. Brent from the Bridge City writes in and says, Brock Lesnar's done really well. Sounds like a good prairie type of person. He is just all that. I really enjoyed that night. And the other thing that I liked the most was that Marty McSorley, for the first time in his life, wasn't the toughest guy in the room. I guess I've got through the comments on the Western Dodge text line, 902-518-3033. We'll see what Monday brings. By then, will we know the Golden Knights' opponent in the Stanley Cup final? We don't know. Montreal Canadiens facing elimination tonight at Carolina. I picked Montreal to win and extend this series, but I don't know. Don't take my picks to the bank. Oh, for the USA hockey fans that are watching, you really got to watch out for the media, as I've said many, many times. Matthew Tkachuk, after the USA lost to Canada in the quarterfinal at the World Hockey Championship, which is a whole other thing, but he says, I never want to be in this tournament again. They're blowing that quote up in Canada like Tkachuk is not grateful for having been in this great tournament. No, the tournament's for everybody that missed the playoffs or who aren't still in the playoffs. No, nobody wants to be in that tournament. And Tkachuk is saying that, and some Canadian media is blowing that up to make him look like the bad guy. I mean, sometimes you just can't win, so Ricky Nelson had it right. You can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. But I'll say it again. I walked into Pump Jack's Cathedral Steakhouse and Saloon for lunch on Thursday with my sponsor, Bob, and there's hockey on every television. You can't avoid it in Canada if you tried. I don't try, but hockey in the U.S. gets a bad rap in that Canadians don't think Americans care. They do care. It's just not number one. In Canada, it's number one. But all of the hockey fans in the States where hockey is number one for them, they talk about Canada like it's some Narnia, some faraway land where hockey's on television 24/7. It is. And it's amazing. I often bitch that we don't have the NHL network in Canada, but it's like, we don't need it. We call it TSN. And when you're tired of that, we call it Sportsnet. Hockey 24/7. It's amazing. Brent in Saskatoon writes, then he says, a great week of shows, Rod. It's wonderful to be trying to help people struggling with addiction. God knows they need it. Have a great weekend and don't overheat too much. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I said I took my coffee out on the patio this morning and I'm like, this is why I come here for the summer. Absolutely perfect. I said in Florida, my skin was starting to bubble and blotch. No. If I don't have to, I'm not going to. BW writes, and he says, Weyburn Pump Jacks is looking forward to see the RP show this summer. I'm looking forward to seeing them. I've been going around visiting all our sponsors. That's where I got this Golden Knights gear from the Ultimate Fan Zone, which reminds me we never finished our sports update, which is brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone. From jerseys to trading cards, Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Stories, your fan cave headquarters. Visit them on Main Street or click over to ultimatefanzone.ca. Oh, trust me, I went in there. This XL Golden Knights bunny hug was just calling my name off the rack. And the owner, Billy, he was all revved up. He's always revved up about something. But he's like, I need to come on your show and do a rant about blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what he was ranting about. It's always something. I feel like we should do a rant corner. Remember that, producer Corey? They used to have that with the much music. Get in the booth. We should have a rant. Video your own rant, and we'll put it on the ARP. I can't even remember what he was upset about. I'm sure he's over it by now. Okay, everybody. Be good to each other, but most importantly, be good to yourself. And we'll see you Monday here on the RP Show.
Good.